Hey guys, here we are with Irina Shimko, and we are going to ask her a few questions about the steps that she follows when feeding a raw diet. Okay, so hi Irina.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Okay, good. So we're just going to start off with a couple simple questions. First, how long have you been preparing food for your dogs?
Well, as far as preparing raw food, probably since about 97.
Okay.
But cooking for my dog back at home in Ukraine since I was 12.
Okay. What were you cooking when you were 12?
Well, we didn't have dog food back then, so we had to cook whatever you could, mostly grain, meat, and some vegetables, pretty much depending on how much money you have.
Mm. Did they do okay? Did everybody do okay?
The dogs did all right, but they had issues. They had, yeah.
Like skin or?
Yep, mostly.
Okay. Okay. What were some of the grains you said and meats? What kind of meat were you?
Mostly, bones, like leftovers, beef, probably mostly, yeah. And then grains, rice or barley, and vegetables, whatever leftovers, because we cook a lot of soup, a lot of vegetable leftovers, so we would add then whatever we have. If I would have a raw meat, a piece leftovers that I could give him, I would as well.
Okay, so you wouldn't cook it, you would give it to him if you could.
Yeah.
So the other things, you were cooking them all in the same, pot?
Yeah, it was like a huge pot that would last for like 3 days.
Okay, so since you were 12, so quite a while. As far as what you've done up until now, you said you started in 97?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, what were you doing then? What did you start with when you first started getting your hands on raw and those types? Wait, first, why did you decide to go to raw?
Mostly because I had issues with stomach issues. Dogs started out with just loose stool, but then, if you have a lot of dogs in one facility, there's a chances of them getting sick with or getting infected with coccidia, for example, one of the worst. And that's what we experienced, and basically after not being able to get it under control with anything, with antibiotics, with everything I possibly could, I had like 10 dogs sick. I had to make my own kefir and give it to them on empty stomach every day for about 3 weeks. And then slowly start raw.
Kefir is it's like a yogurtish kind of type?
Yep, it's basically yogurt. It's a little bit different. You can get it in like organic stores. So they have starters. I used to make like a huge, probably almost a gallon at a time. And after 3 weeks, 2 weeks, things started to get better. And I started a very small amount of meat. Back then I only had available ground chicken backs and necks that I could find, or turkey backs and necks. Pretty much that was it. Sometimes some beef. And I found that was, even though it helped huge, but it was ground up with bone, and I could tell that it wasn't enough meat, but it was still better than anything else I've done with dry food and everything.
Okay, so you were chicken and ground beef or bones kind of things.
And turkey.
When you first in turkey, when you started. And then what are some of the other things that you've experimented with in the last, I guess 97, almost 18 or 17?
Well, as time went on, we were able to get better meat from better source. Okay. So, of course, to have chicken backs and necks or turkey backs and necks ground, it's a lot of bone and not a whole lot of meat. Best thing to do is to grind whole turkey or whole chicken or whole rabbit. Rabbit became available, and that is a great meat. Okay. I was also experimenting with tripe back in the day, but it was kind of dependent on how I could get more, then I could use it longer, sometimes couldn't get it. But now for the past at least 10 years or more, it's been pretty consistent. And mostly I've been feeding whole chicken, whole turkey, whole rabbit, and duck necks. Everything ground.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like you have I wanted to ask you about that. So ground versus, have you ever fed dogs with, where you would give them like a back or a neck or a chicken quarter or something like that?
Yes, we have done that before. All I could say, it kind of depends on the dog and how well they chew. But a lot of dogs like it so much that they just basically inhale it. So that doesn't really benefit. I find that the whole ground bird would be, it just better digests, it's better, yeah. And then for a dog, instead of having one chunk sitting in there, it's just, I think it's easier.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what we have here. So we have a couple different kinds of meat here. Looks like we have, what, 5 different kinds. So
Yes,
so let's start. So this is tripe. So tripe is intestines, yeah?
Yep,
Basically?
it's the stomach of a cow.
Okay.
And basically, since dogs can't really digest vegetables, this is another way for them to get vegetables that are already pre-digested.
Okay. Because it's in the stomach. And
Right,
it's
and
already
then
got the-
cows eat the grass, and so
Okay.
that's what we get here. And it's really, it's full of bacteria, good bacteria
Good
for
bacteria.
stomach, yeah, and it helps, huge. I always mix pretty much either once a day, every other day, depends on how much I have, but once a day for sure. Mixed tripe was whatever meat I mix.
Okay. What's this?
This is chicken, this is whole chicken.
Okay.
But you can see it's really fat. It's
Okay,
got a lot
so
of fat in there.
Chicken has more fat than some of the
Yes,
other
chicken
meats?
is the most fattening out of all these. This is whole turkey.
Okay.
It's pretty lean and light meat, you can see.
Okay.
This is ground duck necks, so it's not a whole lot of meat in here. It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's a little bit different. It's not as light as turkey. And then rabbit, my favorite. Very lean meat. You can see how red it is.
Actually, that's interesting. If you just look at the, this is duck.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's rabbit.
Yeah.
Or even if you look
And
at
you can see turkey, how it
much
is.
lighter it is.
Yep, kind of pale.
Okay.
Yep. So I mix meats. Sometimes I'll give just one kind of meat, depending on the dog, with tripe. But most of my dogs do fine, so I mix them together.
Okay, so you will mix, say, duck and rabbit, or is there something you don't mix? Is there anything that you don't like to mix together?
Not in the raw form. I'll be able to mix everything, and dogs seem to always do well.
Okay. All right. Let's see. And then as far as I know a lot of it is, for a lot of people, is what you're able to get, but it looks like, so would you feed, so here we have all these 5 different, you said you feed tripe almost every day if you have it available, a little bit. So then like maybe on Monday you might feed duck and rabbit, and Tuesday you might feed turkey and chicken or something like that?
Something like that. Sometimes people are unable to get all this variety of, duck and chicken and turkey, but they can get beef. But I feel like beef is really rich, and depending on how much you feed it, I wouldn't feed it more than twice a week. And most people get beef, just beef without any bone in it, so I usually mix it up with something that has more bone, either turkey that's leaner, or maybe duck, and that works out great then. If I give them by itself,
Beef?
then I have to give them a lot less. Otherwise, it will be a reaction.
Oh, like a
looser, yeah.
Looser stool kind of
It's
thing?
richer meat, and it's good meat, but it's too rich, and I just feel like dogs out in the wild, if they would have a choice, they would most likely eat rabbit and chicken, or wild turkey.
Okay. Let's see. So, as far as how much you feed each dog, do you have a certain thing that you follow, or do you just kind of eyeball it, or what do you do for that?
Yes, I kind of eyeball it basically. Knowing the dogs, you know approximately how much they eat. Everything you start always with smaller amount to see how the dog is doing. If it's a new meat or a whole new diet, and see how it goes. If you watch the dog close, within a week or so, you'll be able to tell if the dog's gaining weight or losing weight or what's happening. and depending on your goals. My goals mostly were always to keep weight on, because all the dogs are young and athletic, especially like Menomonie. So like a Menomonie at a 70-pound male can eat close to at least 1.5 pounds of meat.
He can eat this much in one feeding?
This is water added in there, so it's a little bit more. But yes, he can easily eat that in one feeding.
A 70-pound dog, you're saying?
Yeah.
Active dog.
Active
Very
dog,
active
yes.
dog. Okay.
If the dog is not active and already adult, not growing, then they will be eating less than that usually.
So you said you did add water to this.
Yes.
This is a prepared meal right here,
Yes.
basically?
With
One thing that you notice right away is how much moisture there is in that. So I assume the dogs maybe don't drink as much water when you feed raw. Is that the deal?
right, they don't feel, unless they exercise, they
Sure.
they don't feel like they need to drink. They're
As
not-
much as to compensate when they eat kibble, because
Right.
which is very dry. So
Yes.
they need to put.
They will be thirsty if they eat kibble.
If they eat
yes.
kibble.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, is there anything? So, with the raw diet, is there anything? Can you just feed meat, and are you good to go that way, or is there anything else that you need to add? Do you ever put, eggs or any of that kind of stuff in there? Or?
Yeah, you can make it as excitable as you want for the dog.
Okay.
I feed raw in the morning and dry food at night. The dry food at night that I feed is grain-free,
Okay.
good quality. I also switch it around. It could be poultry, it could be fish, it could be beef.
So you're switching the protein source in the kibble as well?
Yeah, it's usually about every 4 or 5 months.
Okay, so you'll go from like fish protein source you'll feed for 4 or 5 months, and then after that you'll go to a poultry kind of source, and then maybe
It depends on the.
venison or
Also
something?
depends on the weather. If it's cold, the winter is coming up, I'm gonna find something that's got more fat in it, and
Sure,
so
sure.
on. But again, for my dogs, I always try to keep weight on. It's very easy for my dogs to lose weight.
Okay, so you feed kibble. So you go half raw, basically half raw, or you do raw in the morning and then kibble at night. You said.
Yes.
So kibble, I know, has a lot of not nutrient, but different vitamins and minerals that they need. That's added to the kibble. So do you feel like, so if someone was just to feed raw and not feed kibble, do you feel like they would need to add some supplements?
Yes, they would have to figure out for their individual dog what this dog needs, depending on their age or possible issues that they might have. They might need extra, but as far as nutrients, general nutrient, for example,
Okay, you got a
I
couple
would.
things here.
I got a couple things that I give my dogs, but I don't give it all year round. I give it for about 6-7 months, and once summer is here, I give them a break.
Okay.
I feel like they can get as much as possible from nature, and they should have a break from all the supplements. So that's what I basically do. Here I have, this is a basic supplement that's not, there's so many supplements out there. This is what I do. It works for my dogs. It's really good for their coat. It doesn't have too many vitamins or too many minerals, but it's got just the right amount, and some really good stuff. They only take one tablet a day. This is for my young dogs, everybody I give. This
is for more of a skin and coat, you're saying?
Yeah, and just overall good health. It's
Immune
there's
system
enough.
type thing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. This is a joint support, which is a young dog won't need, but a dog that had a surgery or an older dog will need that. So I add that to a couple of my older dogs.
Okay. And then what do we have here?
And this is omega-3 oil. It's fish oil. It's only omega-3. I believe it is the best, actually, for dogs.
Okay. Not omega-6? Is it omega-6?
Right. I believe that I read enough to make an opinion about this. The 3 they can get from fish, but the 6 they can get from other sources. And so if their getting the 3 and the 6 again, then they're gonna overload on their
On that
nutrients.
particular-
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay. So you like the 3, you like the one with the omega-3s, okay. What about, I know you said with tripe that they get, you know, some of that nutrient that they would get from grass or, vegetables, I guess. Do you ever feed vegetables? Do you ever give them vegetables?
We've tried, and we've tried dried vegetables.
Like
soaked in-
dehydrated or
Dehydrated, yes. It's where you can soak them over the night. And that really didn't work because dogs were not digesting it. It was very obvious. We tried grinding up vegetables, which is a lot of work. If you have one dog, it's all right. That worked better because it was ground to basically nothing. And unless it's that way, unless it's completely ground to nothing, dogs can't really digest it.
They don't work with it.
No,
Okay.
and that's okay. The vegetables are fine. That's good. But I just found the tripe is not only it has the nutrients, but also it has the
bacteria.
the bacteria.
Talking
That
about.
is, yes.
Okay, so when you're feeding raw food in the morning and kibble at night, do you ever have any kind of digestion issues with that?
No.
Okay. Do you ever mix kibble and raw food together?
Oh, once in a while, but generally not.
Okay.
It's best to separate raw from processed.
Sure. Okay. Is there a reason that you feed kibble at night or instead of raw at night? Is there a reasoning behind that, or?
Yeah, because during the day, if our dogs are working or doing something, they get the most amount of protein pretty much during the day. And at night, they get their dry food and sleep.
Sure.
So and it worked for me in terms of our letting dogs out, going potty and so on.
Okay.
It works the best for me. Yeah.
Okay. Movements or scheduling.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's Irina Shimko here at Red Star Kennel, and we'd like to thank her for coming on and giving us this information about raw food. We have tons of information on Leerburg's website. If you go under the Healthcare and Nutrition tab, you can find all kinds of information on raw diets, different protein things, also supplements. The supplements are all organized in a way where they can explain exactly what they do. So visit that, and hopefully with this information, if you decide to go down the path of a raw diet, this will give you a good place to start. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.